In April of 2018, the 4th edition of the God of War series was released, and with fans all over the world ready to take control of the war-loving Kratos once again, the game sold over 3.1 million copies just after 3 days of release, with it reaching over 21 million 4 years later in 2022. And now, with God of War Ragnarok being released on the 9th of this month, I thought it would be a great idea to bring you guys a little recap and my personal opinion on God of War. We begin with Kratos and his son Loki, Atreus, about to cremate the boy's mother. Once the preparations have been complete, they both set out hunting before running into this fat ass motherfucker. Once they beat the living fuck out of this ogre here, they return home to find out the boy's mother has been cremated, and following her wishes, Kratos prepares to leave on a journey to the highest peak in all the realms in order to spread his, lover's ashes up there. Kratos and love don't really feel right to say together. It is at this point where fans may begin to understand that this new story is set in Norse mythology, and questions may begin to pop up such as how did Kratos actually get there. However, before Kratos sets off on his journey, this absolute prick appears out of nowhere, and although Kratos tries to avoid him, the dickhead starts a fucking fight. However, Kratos beats the living fuck out of him before killing him. Now knowing the danger, Kratos decides to take Atreus with him, although he knows the boy is not prepared for the journey. At the beginning of their journey, they run into this funny ass blue goblin penis, which just so happens to be a blacksmith, meaning that he can upgrade Kratos' new weapon, the Leviathan axe. As they continue the journey, Kratos tries to help the boy improve his archery skills by shooting a bow. However, a witch lady by the name of Freya stops the two and brings them back to her place, before revealing that she knows Kratos is half god, and that he should tell the boy the truth, but obviously Kratos denies. After this, the two travel to the Lake of Nine and awaken the world serpent, who starts speaking gibberish and then dips. As they continue up the base of the mountain, they run into the brother of the penis head named Sindri, who points them up the right path through the mountain. However, it turns out that the path is blocked by a black mist, and only the light of Alfheim can clear it. Kratos and the boy decide to travel to Alfheim to collect a piece of the light, and using the portal that connects all realms called the Bifrost portal, they arrive there. As they fight through the horde of elves and complete puzzles, they finally reach the light of Alfheim. And when this absolute idiot decides to touch it, he gets transported to a dreamlike world where he can supposedly hear the thoughts of his own son. And when he reaches the end, as he's about to meet his wife's spirit, he gets pulled out by Atreus, who is surrounded by bodies and tells his father angrily that several days had passed when it was only a couple seconds for Kratos. When they return to Midgard, they climb past the black mist and go up an elevator. As they begin to go up, they are attacked by a Goliath of a dragon, and due to the dragon losing, it starts to run away. Mere moments pass before they see it again, and Kratos is forced to fight it. As he battles it, he manages to put some wild sap tree in its neck using a crane, and then blows a hole through its neck, killing the beast. Once they reach the top of the mountain, they find their previous enemy called Balder and Thor's two sons, Modi and Magni, talking to the smartest man in all realms, known as Mimir. Once the three leave, Kratos climbs the mountain and begins to talk to Mimir, and is again recognized as someone not of this realm. But he is also told some crucial information, that the highest peak in all realms is not the mountain he is on, but the one in Jotunheim. However, the path to Jotunheim has long been destroyed, but Mimir is glad to help the two if they can get him out of his prison. So Kratos cuts his head off and takes him to the Witch of the Forest, who reluctantly brings him back to life. Mimir then reveals that Freya is actually a goddess, making Kratos lose trust in her, so the trio decide to leave. As the three look for ways to get to Jotunheim, they run into Modi and Magni, and through very tough battling, Kratos manages to kill Magni, leaving the pussy over there to run like a little bitch. However, Atreus' sickness reappears, so the two are forced to turn back to Freya and look for help. But on the way there, they are ambushed by Modi again, to which, you guessed it, Kratos whoops his ass and the pussy flees again. Once they reach Freya's place, she tells Kratos that she needs the heart of a troll, which is in fucking hell. And to make things worse, the Leviathan axe just doesn't work in hell. Well, it's not all so bad, as there is a weapon that does work, the Blades of Chaos. As Kratos goes back to his yard, he keeps seeing this bitch ass hoe Athena, who keeps telling him that he will always be a monster no matter where he goes or what he does. But the badass Kratos just says,
I know. But I am your monster no longer.
Once Kratos defeats the troll in hell, in the distance he sees the mist of hell solidify into Zeus, Kratos' bestiality-loving father, again showing that the two mythologies are somehow linked. Once they return, Freya takes Atreus' sickness away, but says that Atreus must know who he truly is to be cured, to which Kratos obliges. But once Atreus finds out that he's a god, he turns into a little fucking bitch-ass hoe, prick, pussy, and cunt. As they continue travelling up, this chode penis lookalike, also known as Modi, shows up. Is taken down pretty much straight away, but this time is mercilessly killed by Atreus. Once they reach the top, for the second time, they finally open the portal to Jotunheim. But this little skinny prick known as Boulder ambushes them again, and the portal is destroyed. Atreus, still being a dickhead, then tries to act up, shoots his dad in the fucking shoulder, and then is kidnapped by Boulder. Boulder then jumps on the dragon, obviously Kratos follows, slashes the dragon, and causes everyone to fall onto Atreus' temple and into the Bifrost portal, throwing all 4 people back to Helheim. In Helheim, we find out that Boulder is Freya's son, and he has been cursed by his mother to be immortal and not feel pain. We also see an image of Kratos killing Zeus, which Atreus sees and is shocked to find out about. But through seeing this, he stops being a prick and turns back to normal. When they escape, they find out that Tyr, the creator of the bridge and the Bifrost portal, made another way to go into Jotunheim, but Mimir's other eye is needed to activate it, which just so happens to be inside of the Great Serpent. They begin exploring inside, and after some time finally find Mimir's other eye. And as they are about to leave, the serpent gets attacked by Boulder, causing the 3 inside to be spit out, crash landing them all near the foot of a giant named Thamor. Freya then arrives there and Boulder emerges out the water, obviously causing a pretty awkward family reunion. As Boulder gets more and more angry, Kratos begins to step in. However, Atreus again acts up and is punched by Boulder. However, Boulder is cut by a green arrow, which just happened to be on Atreus' bow strap, and it turns out that this arrow broke Boulder's curse, so he is no longer immortal. Kratos and Boulder then begin their 3rd fight, and as the 2 continue, Freya tries to stop them but fails. At the end, Kratos breaks Boulder's neck again, killing him for good this time, but in the process infuriates Freya. Atreus then starts saying shit like, Daddy, do all godly relationships end in death? But then Kratos comes through and is like,
Boy, listen here. We choose to be the god that we want to be.
or some bullshit like that. Once this is all over, Kratos and Atreus both finally make it to the top of the highest peak in all realms. However, along the path to the top, Kratos and Atreus discover the relics of the giants and the drawings depicting the exact journey the 2 would take to reach the mountain, including the fights and the interactions that would happen, proving once and for all that giants could predict the future. However, there was one last drawing that Atreus did not see and only Kratos saw, and it showed the future that had not yet happened: Kratos' death. Finally, at the top of the peak, the 2 spread the ashes while overlooking a graveyard of dead giants. Just before the main game ends, we find out that the giants refer to Atreus as Loki, and Kratos also tells Atreus that is what his mother wanted to call him. Lastly, in a post-credit scene, we see a man outside Kratos' house with lightning all around him and a hammer by his side, who we can all assume is the one and only Thor. To all those that skipped the recap, first of all, suck your bum. Second of all, welcome back. Now this video is already long enough, so I'll try and make this quick. The story itself has honestly leveled up tremendously from the last games. And since the story from the last 3 games was fucking insane, this shows how phenomenal the God of War series actually is. And now, with the new known ability to travel between mythologies, I can't wait to see how much better this game series will turn out to be. The character development is also phenomenal. Kratos turning from a bloodthirsty, war-loving violence monster into a loving father is amazing. And fans who have played the previous games must be astounded at things happening, as this concept was thought to be impossible after Kratos' first family died. All the other characters are also shown beautifully, with the way they all show different sides of themselves depending on what's happening. These different sides that we see could also have multiple meanings, such as Freya initially looking like a nice person but then showing the true colours and turning into a stupid bitch, but at the same time having the valid reason of wanting a child to be able to live in this merciless world. We can also see this in Atreus by seeing him develop from an ignorant boy to a cunt boy to an understanding why Kratos can sometimes be a bitch boy. I should stop doing that, my throat hurts. The music, I'm sadly gonna have to say, is nothing too special. It is still good and matches the scene perfectly, but it's just not up there. In terms of world building, not much is actually told about the world, only a few things. We still have many other realms to visit and things to find out that were not properly explained previously, and I assume these will be explained in the final game for Norse mythology. The game mechanics and the 2 weapons are great as usual, and even though this game lets you max out every ability, without the player actually having skill, the game is still hard, and enemies such as the Valkyries are still insanely difficult to beat, meaning the game stays challenging but fun throughout. There is also so much extra content that if one decided to continue playing, it would keep them occupied for hours at a time, so very good in this factor. Whew. Now that that's done, let's finally end with the... Overall, I'm gonna have to say this game is really good and totally grasped my attention. And if you have played this game, you'll understand what I mean. And I know that you and me both are totally hyped for Ragnarok, whether we can get it or not. So if you haven't actually played it and are wanted to get into this series, go play it. You don't even need to play the previous 3 games. A recap will suffice. But I do recommend you do if you have the ability to. Woo! That sounded sick, what the fuck? Shit! Okay. Moving on. Overall, I have to give this game an 84 out of 96. And for my recommendation, obviously play all the God of War games. And if you have, then have a go at that Uncharted series. All the games for Uncharted should be available on PS5, if not PS4. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your own opinion. And peace. For those of you still here, I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I really felt like putting a little boy every single time I mentioned Atreus instead of actually saying his name. But like, looking back at it, yes, it's a missed opportunity, but it would have been cringe as fuck, so I don't know how to feel about not doing it, but hey, it is what it is now, too late innit? Okay, goodbye for real this time. I should have done it.